live. Thank you for coming out, everybody. Okay, it's Tuesday, November 10th, 2020. And you may have noticed that the title of this live stream is They Can't Stop Anything That's Coming. Yes, Billy Yap title. You know why I entitled this live stream They Can't Stop Anything That's Coming? Well, because they can't stop anything that's coming. Okay? Very accurate title. Alright. So, let's just go right into this. Alright? You may have been aware that last week Twitter suspended me. I had an account that had gone up to like 256,000 followers, and and my visibility was getting erased. And of course, they waited until right after the election. And you probably noticed that you've seen these social media goons just suspending accounts left and right, going after any high-profile conservative account. That isn't like the very top, like, Donald Trump or Donald Trump Jr. They're not gonna suspend those people, but they have no problem going after everybody else on the conservative side. Man, they've been really going after people for like the last 7 days. It's Tuesday, it's 1 week since the election. So, I suspect they suspended me. It could have been this. It could have been this. This is the last tweet that I got to make on my account before Twitter tossed me ass first off their platform. So you may have noticed this is a Photoshop of that famous Steven Crowder meme. The Change My Mind man. And what this meme says is, we are headed to manual recounts in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona. Okay, and I just want to stop for a second and fully drink in the irony of this. That at the time they suspended me on, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday of last week. All the Democrats were preparing for a massive gaslighting campaign. That Biden had won this election, and there weren't any recounts coming. Biden won. It's time for all the wingnuts and MAGA, they call us MAGAs, so all the MAGAs out there just to suck it up and deal with the reality of the fact that Biden is going to be president. So at the time they suspended me, they didn't believe that there were manual recounts coming in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona. Okay, and we already know Georgia's announced it. It's official. There's going to be one. Okay, there's going to be one probably every single one of these states. The recounts are coming. Maybe not just recounts, audits. You know what an audit is? Okay, a recount is different from an audit. Or I should say an audit is different from a recount. With a recount, you often have the same people who were in charge of the first count, the one that they messed up and they kept all the poll observers out of the building, or they put them so far away they were forced to resort to binoculars to try to see the ballots from 30, 40, 60 feet away. So, I don't have much confidence in recounts if this is going to be the same people who were running the first count. Why have a recount if you have the same people that were running the first count, and the first count got screwed up, and so you're having a recount? Why would you put the same people in charge of it? So that's that. Now an audit isn't just taking the same ballots that they counted the first time and counting them again. Okay, that's not what an audit is. An audit is, they're not just taking the ballots that were counted the first time and counting them again. They are examining the ballots. Like this is the ballot. They are examining it. looking at the ballot, they're checking the ballots before they count them again. And they find out a lot of these ballots are fake and they're not real. And they cost them. You don't really want a recount. You want an audit. Okay, get that out there. You don't want recounts. You want audits where they check the ballots while they're counting them. It's not just like counting all the same ballots again for the second time. Okay, you want an audit. They check the ballots. Okay. Now the second thing that's different about an audit and a recount. Okay, the second thing is federal agents are involved in audits. Okay, you may remember there was this real problem when the first counts were being held starting on Tuesday of last week with these Democratic machines that is with the election personnel running the counting, letting the GOP poll watchers into the building and have access to the counting tables. You may have noticed there were viral videos and stuff. Hell, even before the counting started, they weren't letting poll watchers into the buildings. You know, we all saw the videos. Okay, well, with an audit, federal agents are there, armed federal agents. And they can't throw the armed federal agents out of the building. And they cannot put the armed federal agents 60 goddamn feet from the counting tables while all their hand-picked people are doing the counting. That's not how it works in an audit. Okay? So we're headed for audits. And so we had this extensive gaslighting campaign they were preparing for. Okay, now all this was coordinated, all this was planned. They called Arizona early so everybody would focus on Arizona. All these other states stopped counting, so then they said they were going home for the night. And then about, and right in the middle of the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, they started doing all of these massive ballot dumps. Where they had huge tracts of these ballots just for Biden, with they didn't have any down ballot voting. Okay, and they did that to flip these close races in the battleground states. It's obvious what they did. They were blatant about it. I've been using the word cartoonishly blatant. They were cartoonishly blatant about what they did, and then right after they had that happen on Tuesday, they delayed. They still haven't called Alaska. Did you know they haven't called Alaska? They just got around calling North Carolina today. Okay, so they planned all of this. They coordinated all of this. The Democrats, the DNC, what I call the DNC media complex, or the corporate media, they coordinated all of this, and so they knew that on Friday night they were going to have Biden declare victory. See, and Biden was going to declare victory, and then they were going to launch an intense gaslighting campaign, which they started on Saturday morning. Okay, Saturday morning, they waited till they knew millions of Americans were going to tune in to watch the college football games. I was one of them. I still watch college football, And they held back that announcement, and they waited until they knew millions of Americans were tuning in to watch the late morning college football games to announce that, yes, Joseph Biden has won the 2020 presidential election. And they're all saying, he's the president-elect. It's over. It's all over. It's over. It's over. Like that guy screamed it in the last Matrix movie. It's over. It's over. So everybody can relax. Everybody can start celebrating. Woo! And people dancing in the streets and everything. It's over. It's over. Then Biden now holds the office of the president-elect. And the media has declared that Joseph Biden has won the presidential election. And so all day Saturday, all day Sunday, all day, and most of the day Monday, they went for it. They stepped up this gaslighting, man. Okay, Biden won. It's over. Trump needs to concede. Trump needs to concede. We need to put this national nightmare behind us. Okay, we don't need to put the country through this. Trump needs to concede, and we all have to unify behind Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And this needs to happen. Yes. Bullshit. But with these people, okay. So look, the whole thing was ridiculous. The whole gaslighting campaign for 3 days was ridiculous. There is no office of the president-elect, and the goddamn media does not decide who wins the election. They make projections. They make predictions, okay? But they don't declare who's won. Okay, it's all over now. Trump can just stop filing those lawsuits. They can stop complaining. Hey, Trump, stop you whining, stop you bitching. Just give up already, And that's all unified behind Biden. 3 days they were pulling this crap, okay? And then yesterday, and they said, there's no way Trump is going to flip any of these states. He's won. Biden's won. We said it. Okay, 279. It's over. It's over. The race is over. God damn it. We say it's over. It's over because we say it's over. That's what we do. We tell people, okay, that it's over. And they're supposed to just shut up and go with it, okay? What happened yesterday? Well, several things happened. First, we found out about William Barr. Remember everybody screaming, William Barr, where is William Barr? Where's our Attorney General? What's he doing? Why isn't he out there in Philadelphia in front of the building where the counting's going on, holding a press conference, talking about what he's doing, telegraphing it all, okay? And look, I said for going on 3.5 years now, ever since I got involved in Spygate, the Department of Justice, do you know what it is? It's a very secretive federal agency. They do not advertise what they are doing, and they will never tell you what they're doing until they're ready to go public with what they're doing. So until then, you just have to sit with your thumb up your butt and wait. And that's not a popular take, I know. There are people out there that are so used to dealing with the corrupt Obama Department of Justice. Sure, yes, of course, I'm aware of this. There are people that are still at the DOJ that are anti-Trump, and they're doing everything they can to obstruct him, and they're doing everything they can to try to stop him. Yes, I'm aware of this. Okay, but that doesn't mean things aren't happening. If they're doing stuff and they're getting stuff ready, they're not going to tell you till they're ready. Okay? Now, yesterday, 6 days after the election, Monday afternoon, Barr was ready. And Barr unleashed himself. Okay? That's the one thing that happened yesterday. Because Barr released this memo and said he is telling all the U.S. attorneys that they are now open to pursuing cases of federal election fraud from this election which just occurred 7 days ago. And in fact, if you read to the end of that memo that Barr released, you will see he has said that in the past 6 days, in several instances, he has already initiated such investigations. You know what that means? That means he's already assigned U.S. attorneys to federal election fraud investigations. Yeah. From the 2020 election, just 6 days ago, so the whole time everybody's running around on social media. Oh my God, where's the DOJ? Oh my God, where's Barr? He's doing his job, okay? And when he was ready, he went public. And the first inkling that we got that this was going to happen is that Barr went down. Okay, he did this publicly. I want you to understand this. He didn't have to do this publicly. He telegraphed what was coming. He very publicly went to the Senate building where reporters could see him going in and out of Mitch McConnell's office. These are old Washington hands. These guys have been in Washington forever. If they want to meet somebody where the press can't see it, how hard do you think it is for them to arrange that? So the first thing you need to understand about everything that happened yesterday is that was a rollout. They wanted people to see that. They wanted people to know what they were doing. So Barr, if he wants to meet Mitch McConnell in private when nobody knows they're meeting, that's not hard to arrange. They do that all the time. Nobody knows who's meeting who. Okay, so the fact that he goes down there and walks into the building publicly where all the media reporters are gathered out front, okay, and he wants them to see him walk into Mitch McConnell's office, okay, and then we find out like it was just an hour or two later that memo got released. So that was Barr down there, not just giving Mitch McConnell a heads up. It's about to go down. Okay, that's not just giving Mitch a heads up. It's telegraphing. It's showing everybody that there is the rollout. They're going public now with the federal election fraud. And then the next thing that's happened is you may have noticed that Fox News, the big thing was calling Arizona early on election night. Yep, I called Arizona early. Now everybody's, what the hell did you do that for? They had like 1% within. And Fox News called Arizona for Joe Biden. Okay, and everybody said, yeah, you need to really retract that because the votes aren't all in yet. The counting's still going on. Okay, and Fox News and CNN and Real Clear Politics and all these other sites, they said, yeah, okay, yeah, Joe Biden won. We'll follow Fox's lead, okay? How does that look now? Because today, I don't know if you know this, but today, CNN, Real Clear Politics, and a bunch of these other websites took Arizona away from Biden. Okay, Arizona had 11 electoral votes. They took it away from Biden. That dropped him back down below 270. And they moved Arizona to toss-up because Trump is very close now, and the counting is still going on, and the state's not called yet. Okay, and today Trump was declared the winner in North Carolina. And, we have developments and lawsuits flying everywhere, okay? All the fraud is out there. People know about the fraud. They've seen it. The evidence is out there. The evidence is in the lawsuits that are being publicly filed, which you can go read for yourself. Especially the one in Pennsylvania that was filed today. Okay, so it's all happening now, and all these people that spent the whole of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and most of Monday screaming this thing was over, trying to gaslight everybody that this thing was over. Okay, where are they now? Okay, now it's starting to dawn on some of them that it's not over. Oh, it's far from over. Now, they kept talking about the president-elect, the office of the president. Biden had signs ready. He appeared in front of signs, office of the president-elect. There is no office of the president-elect. Okay, look, people don't understand what a transition is. Oh, that's another thing. Biden campaign screaming, the transition's already started. They're not cooperating. They're not letting us into the buildings. They're not letting us come in and move in and start taking over. They're thwarting our transition. There is no transition. Nobody's won yet. Let me explain. Okay. The transition phase begins when one of several things happens, or some combination of things. One candidate concedes to the other candidate. Okay, or two, all the votes are counted and everybody knows who won each state. Okay, that's when the transition will start. Okay, are all the votes counted? Hell no. There's like how many states are still haven't been called yet? Arizona has been retracted. That's not called yet. Pennsylvania is not called yet. North Carolina wasn't called till today. All right, and there are states out there that are still in dispute. So, how can the transition start when there's states that haven't been called yet? Explain that to me, okay? Then the other thing is the transition can't start until one candidate concedes to the other. Has Donald Trump conceded yet? Well, of course he hasn't. He's pursuing legal options. They point out all these irregularities and all these Democrat machine-controlled cities where they pulled all these shenanigans, not the least of which was physically tossing.
That's it. What are you talking about? Don't you know how anything works? clearly you don't.
Physically tossing all the poll watchers out of the building. Okay, so Donald Trump is pursuing legal action. So that's another sign that the transition hasn't started yet. Okay, so look, uh, take a deep breath. Okay, what have we seen during most presidential elections? Well, one candidate concedes to the other on election night. That's what we're used to seeing. Okay, what happened in 2016? Okay, Trump shocked everybody, and Hillary conceded that very night. So she was out of it at that point. And so that was the night that the transition started. Was election night because Hillary conceded. There was nothing to contest. There were no legal challenges. There was nothing. Okay, now the closest thing we've ever had to this in modern times was the 2000 election. That was when Bush won a razor thin close national election, and the margin of victory in Florida was especially small. And so Albert Gore, who was running against Bush, at first he conceded. And then later on that night, he was talked out of withdrawing his concession. And he then started filing lawsuits, and he pursued legal remedies to force recounts in the state of Florida. And so for people say 37, 36, I'm not sure how many it was. It was either 36 or 37 days. So for 36 or 37 days, Al Gore pursued legal action to force recounts in the state of Georgia. In the state of Florida. Nobody in 2000 was saying, God damn it, why hasn't Gore conceded yet? The transition's already started. He's keeping Bush from starting his transition phase, and getting his transition team in there. Nobody said that because the transition hadn't started yet. Everybody knew Gore is in court trying to get recounts. I believe he succeeded in getting 5 recounts, each of which Bush won. So, and the Democrats and Gore, they were fighting to try to control how the recounts were being done. Oh, they didn't want to recount the whole state. They just wanted to recount some of the bluest counties in Florida. And the Supreme Court slapped that down. Again, they were up to trying to launch recount number 6 when the Supreme Court finally said, that's enough. It was obvious what the strategy was. By God, they were going to do recount after recount after recount until Gore came out ahead, and then that was going to be the last recount. Okay? But finally, after 5 recounts that Bush won, the Supreme Court said, that's it. There's not going to be another recount, and Gore finally conceded, and the transition period officially began, and everybody understood that the transition period officially began, I believe, on the day that Albert Gore Jr. conceded, which was December 15th, 2000. That's when the transition started. So all these people running around, trying to gaslight everybody about the office of the presidential election. Biden's already won, and we're already in the transition. And God damn it, the Trump people need to get out of the way and let the members of Biden's transition team into the government offices so they can start the transition. It's all crap. Okay, they're bluffing, they're lying. There is no transition yet because Trump's in court and he hasn't conceded. And so once again, like they're saying in the comments, this is another example of how nobody knows how anything works, and the media capitalizes on that. People don't know how anything works. Okay, so these last two days have been very eventful. A lot of stuff happening, and so naturally after that weekend where they were celebrating and they were rubbing our faces in it, they suddenly realized today today. Trump could win this. They realize that today. Maybe Trump isn't dead yet. Maybe Trump can come back. And man, are they mad about it. You thought they were pissed before. I mean, this is after 3 days of them spent all weekend celebrating, you know. Because it's over. They announced it during the football games, goddammit. It's over! Why is Trump still fighting in court? It's over, okay? And so now, in their rage, they stepped up in the social media. I'll go back to social media. They're stepping up suspending conservative accounts because basically that's all they can do. That's the one area they have control of. Twitter, the Democrats, the SJWs, they all have control of Twitter. They have control of Facebook. They have control of, and we have talked today, Eventbrite, the March on Washington scheduled for this Saturday. Eventbrite tossed Women for America First, I think the organization is called. They canceled, they sold a bunch of tickets for this event this coming Saturday. Eventbrite tossed Women for America First. They tossed them off their site. They deplatformed them, and they sent everybody a refund, including me, for the tickets that we purchased. And they said this event violated our community guidelines. Okay, and I don't know exactly what kind of bullshit these people trying to use. Your event violates our community guidelines. Yeah, you were conservative and Republican were on our site, and you violated our guidelines, and so we're taking you off our platform. Fine, okay. So eventually we're gonna have to learn to go out there and create our own platforms and have our own, event organization websites. Because these, like my brother called this the polarizing break. They're basically kicking us off of everything, and we're gonna have to go and create our own. I don't want to live in a conservative ghetto, okay? But if this is what has to happen, they have control now, and I guess until their 230 protections are taken away, this is the kind of crap they're gonna do, okay? We're just gonna have to adapt, improvise, and overcome. Okay, so today something happened to somebody I started following recently who had a big breakthrough today. Her web handle is some bitch I know, and last night she almost single-handedly revealed what the Democrats have been doing, how they've been manufacturing a lot of these fake and fraudulent ballots in the battleground states. Okay, she was on her computer last night and she wondered what if somebody had requested a mail-in ballot or requested an absentee ballot in her mother's maiden name. Now, her mother voted under her own name, her married name, in this last election. And so just on work, I don't know some bitch's real name. It's kind of, I don't want to keep saying that word over and over again, okay? So I'll just call her SB, okay? SB, okay? So SB on alert typed her mother's maiden name in there, and the birth date and everything, and looked on the voter registration website, and she discovered that somebody had indeed requested a ballot, and that ballot was sent to them, and it was in her mother's maiden name, and I had all the details right, the name, the maiden name, the year of birth, all of it. So she started putting the word out. All the conservative women out there need to check. Did somebody request? I left a step out. Somebody had contacted her mother asking if she had voted in this other state. The Democratic Party had, did you vote in this other state? Okay. And so people have been contacted, and they're being asked that. So did you vote in this other state? And so some SB started saying, go check and see if somebody requested a ballot, and a ballot was returned, and they used your maiden name. And at the time I stopped following this, I think with over a dozen women had responded and said, yes, somebody used my maiden name. They had contacted her and gotten back to her. And they even started a website called maidengate.com. Maidengate.com. And so women, okay, a lot of people check, of course, and they're all gonna hit on this, but yeah, some women are finding out, yes, somebody filled out a ballot using my maiden name, and they requested a ballot, they got it, and so this, we're all aware that the Democrats fight tooth and claw to keep voter rolls from being cleaned up. Every time somebody talks about cleaning the voter rolls, they scream voter suppression. They scream, you're just trying to keep blacks and minorities from voting. You're trying to suppress the vote. Okay, so that's, so we all know why, Jolton Joe Frazier was able to vote in this last election, even though he's been dead for a couple of years. We don't know why. Okay, because he's still on the voter rolls. And if somebody's just looking at a ballot, a dead person, a person that died a couple of years ago, even, a dozen years ago, and they haven't cleaned the voter rolls, their name is still on the voter rolls. So somebody checks that ballot, they just open up the voter roll. I'm going to check this ballot and see if this ballot is valid. And they flip open the voter roll, and yes, there's the name, there's the social security number, there's the date of birth. Valid ballot, okay? But they don't know that person died a dozen years ago. But the voter roll says that's a valid ballot. See how it works? Okay, so that's why they've been doing it. They find 10,000 dead people that voted in Pennsylvania. Okay, the Democratic machine that runs that city, they know exactly what they're doing. That's why they don't clean the voter roll, so they can use the names of dead people on these fraudulent ballots. Okay? But that's not all they've been doing. See, they needed a lot more than just dead people to flip these close races. So they've resorted to mining the voter databases for the maiden names of women who've been married, and their names are still on these voter rolls. Their names and all their information. Even though they now live and they vote under a different name, their maiden name is still there. Okay? The maiden name is still there. So they just take a married woman's maiden name and all the information, they put that on a fake ballot. It will if somebody gives it a cursory examination, they flip open the voter database and look, Mary Jane Watson, born in 1954, social security number, Okay, and she lives in Arizona. Yep, that checks out, Mary Jane Watson. Yes, okay, so that's a valid ballot. But they don't know that Mary Jane Watson is now Mary Jane Parker, and she doesn't live in Arizona anymore. She lives in Texas, and she voted as Mary Jane Parker in this election. Okay, and so this is how they've been doing it. Okay. Now, some bitch I know got this started last night, and here was her reward today. Twitter dropped a hammer on her. Now, that might look discouraging, but I want you to understand something. This is all they can do. That information is out there now. The website got launched. The information is out there. Okay? They can't stop it. They can't stop these states from having recounts and audits. They can't stop people from coming forward and swearing out affidavits and providing evidence to federal investigators. They can't stop William Barr from assigning U.S. attorneys to investigate these cases of federal election fraud. They can't stop any of that. So, hey, I'm not mad at all, So I had 256,000 followers on Twitter. And they took that account away from me. Yeah, did that stop anything? No, it didn't. Okay, is Trump still winning? Yes, he is. Is he still pursuing legal remedies? Yes. Are all these stupid media outlets that call these states only having to reverse their calls? Yes, they are. Okay. Are there recounts coming? There will be no recounts. Yeah, Georgia and a couple other states, they're doing recounts. Okay, so they can't stop it. So all they can do is throw a tantrum on social media. and try to gaslight everybody about the president-elect and how his transition is being thwarted by the evil Trump. Yeah, that's all crap. Okay. So let's remember. Yeah, like I said, that's bullshit. When they come in, they tried gaslighting, relentless gaslighting, and telling you it was over, telling you there's no reason to fight anymore. Just give up. It's time to unify with the people, who spread that Russian collusion bullshit for 4 years. It's time to unify with those people. Okay, and we ain't unifying with any of these people. All right. We did not have a peaceful transition of power last time. Because what do we know? We found out that on July 26, 2016, the director of the CIA, John Brennan, briefed President Obama that there was intelligence that the CIA had acquired, that the Hillary Clinton campaign was launching a dirty tricks operation to smear President Trump and frame President Trump of being engaged in Russian collusion, and they were doing this to distract people from the fact that James Comey had reopened the Clinton email server investigation. And so Brennan is briefing Obama about this in July. July 26th. That's even before the FBI launched Crossfire Hurricane. So it's already come out that even before they opened Crossfire Hurricane, Comey, Obama, Biden, all these people, they all know this is the Clinton dirty trick. They all know she's using Fusion GPS via Perkins Coie, to launch this smear of the Trump campaign. And they played along with it, and they pretended they didn't know, and they hid this information for 4 years. And it didn't come out until I was on a road trip with Tracy Beans. I was actually sitting in the back seat using my Samsung laptop when the news broke that DNI Ratcliffe had declassified Brennan's notes and the FBI CIA memos that they exchanged with Brennan's CIA fusion group. Okay? So they knew. And then so go back to that January 5th meeting between Obama and Biden and Susan Rice and James Comey and everybody else that was in that room. Okay? Well, Obama, knowing full well this was a Clinton dirty trick, ordered them to continue going after Michael Flynn, ordered them to hide all this information from the Trump transition team, ordered that the investigations based on this fake evidence manufactured by the Clinton campaign continue. That was not a peaceful transition of power. Anybody tells you that it is messing with you. They knew the whole time. They knew all along. This came straight from the Clinton campaign. And they kept pursuing it anyway. Was that a peaceful transition of power? And it took 4 years of investigating. It took the Inspector General going in there and examining the FISA abuse, the fact that still didn't have the high-ranking Russian source he claimed he did for all this Trump collusion bullshit that he was spinning. It was a alcoholic low-level bookings institution research assistant named Igor Danchenko was one of them, was the main source, spotting all this bar gossip, okay? And then Christopher Steele waved his little magic wand and turned this drunken, low-level Russian research assistant at the Brookings Institute into a high-level Russian source. And so everybody went down the rabbit hole for a couple of years. as the media, based on a lot of anonymous voices, it turned out to be bullshit. Spun story after story about all that Russian collusion that Mueller was supposedly finding, and all those Trump associates that were flipping on him and singing to Mueller about that Russian collusion. There are idiots out here that still haven't figured out how they got played. They still believe this crap. They still haven't figured out how they got played. Mueller, with a pack of 13 angry bloodhounds, went in there, man. And let me tell you, they looked under every stone. They looked behind every bush. They dug up and looked under every rock. They found nothing. So that was not a peaceful transition last time. And this time, the transition hasn't even started. Anybody that tells you the transition started already, that's bullshit. Okay, now let's talk about how are conservatives supposed to react to all this censorship? The fact that we're being censored and they're messing with us and they're doing all kinds of crap to us, and they're not being fair. They're not being fair to us, and it's so sad. Okay, some people think we should do this. We should be real dramatic about it. We should be we should just die and give up. Oh my God! Oh, they got me. The censorship, they got me. They threw my ass off of Twitter. Oh, they got me. Okay, look, that's not my attitude at all. I'm not giving up. They didn't stop anything. Look, I knew what was going to happen. I knew what was going to happen a week ago. It's happening already, okay? I was ready for Barr to come out. I expected that. I expected Barr would reveal that the DOJ is on the job. They've already got federal election fraud cases going. I expected that, okay? So they tried to be dramatic, say, oh my God, they have too much power. They're squelching our voices. Yeah, hey, listen, something's going to happen this Saturday in D.C. They can't squelch that. Social media, I keep telling people this, social media is not the real world. Control of social media means shit. They can't stop anything, okay? Social media censorship, okay, doesn't stop anything. The only people that ascribe superpowers to social media are people that are in social media. Their industry is social media. They have a really overweening sense of their power and their influence. Okay, and it's not true. Okay, and you look at what happened over the last 3 days, and with all the stuff that's come out, these media outlets having to reverse their calls, and now the Barr gets activated at the DOJ, and the lawsuits go public, and here's me right now contemplating all the stuff that's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, and I contemplate what Trump and Barr and these federal people are going to do, okay? That's me contemplating what's going to happen, all right? Because, if we had to weather a storm. We had to weather their storm. 3 days of intense gaslighting. They tried to tell us that it was over, that nothing was going to happen. Yeah, okay? And, well, here we are now. How are things looking now? Okay, Arizona's Biden's, goddammit. No, it's not. Okay? And I say Georgia is Biden. Oh, the recount, it's really going to be an audit. The feds are going to be there, okay? We're not going to have this crap where they toss observers out of the building, or they keep them so far away that they can't inspect the ballots while they're being counted. That's not going to happen this time. They don't get to pull their clever tricks, okay? So all the trolls out there, okay, that spent all weekend celebrating that it was over and that Biden had won and that Trump just needed to suck it up and get used to it and concede, okay? How do you feel right now? stop and examine your heart for a moment for me, if you would please. How do you feel watching these states reverse their calls for Biden? How do you feel watching Barr unleashed and knowing that U.S. attorneys are seating grand juries and beginning investigations of federal election fraud? How does it make you feel? And remember, this is for posterity, so please, be honest. How does that make you feel? You've lost to this guy for 4 years, and you're going to continue losing to this guy for the next 4 years, and there ain't a goddamn thing you can do about it because he knows what he's doing. He had 4 years to get ready for this, okay? He knew what they were going to do. They telegraphed it for months. They telegraphed it for months when they kept their states locked down and they pushed for all of this mail-in balloting stuff. They telegraphed to him what they were going to do, okay? Trump did the smart thing. A lot of people say, well, he should have prevented that. He should have stopped them from stopping their counting. He should have just put his foot down and said, God damn it, you guys count and declare me the winner. He should have done that on Tuesday night or something, okay? I said this on my last live stream. What was he supposed to do? What was Trump supposed to do prior to the election? Say, I'm taking over Philadelphia. The governor of Philadelphia and the mayor, the governor of Pennsylvania and the mayor of Philadelphia are no longer in charge. I'm in charge. I'm putting my people in there, and they're going to handle the vote counting. Okay? Basically, if you're dumb enough to think Trump could have done that, he's saying he should have declared martial law. Are you stupid? Okay, he can't do that. Okay, we had a pandemic that started. Okay, we knew about it in January. Really got serious in March. All right, we had a pandemic here. What did they spend months claiming Trump needed to do? Trump needed to become a dictator. He needed to seize and nationalize entire industries. He needed to go in there and take over states and take authority away from those governors and make them do what he wanted. Did he do that? Did he ever do that? Did Trump ever go in there and tell the governor of Minnesota, okay, you ain't in charge of shit anymore. I'm in charge now. Did he ever do that? Did he ever go into New York City and tell Cuomo and de Blasio, sit down, I'm running things here now? Did he ever do that? No. Okay, look, federal election crime, if you know somebody's planning to commit a federal election crime, you can't stop them. If you're the president, you can't stop them by saying, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to take over. That's not how it works. All you can do is what Trump did, and that is you prepare to prove what they did after they committed the crimes. Okay? And make no mistake, if there's actually part of the federal code. Let me find that federal code for you. It's actually part of the federal code that if you are an election official and you knowingly count fraudulent ballots, or you subtract, they use the word tabulation. You either knowingly count fraudulent ballots or you throw out and don't count legitimate ballots. Okay, that is a federal crime. Let's see if I can find that real quick. I had it up the other day. Yes. Okay. Federal Code 20511, 2511. I'm going to put that in the chat there. Okay. U.S. Code 522511, criminal penalties. Okay. I believe I have a screenshot of that. I'm going to add that real quick. I have a screenshot of that somewhere on my desktop. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, found it. And I'll just drop that in here real quick. So you can see it. Okay, here it is. This is Federal Code 20511. Okay, now I want you to read this with me. Okay, a person, including an election official, who in any election for federal office, and I'll drop down the number 2, knowingly and willfully deprives, defrauds, or attempts to deprive or defraud the residents of a state of a fair and impartially conducted election process by A, the procurement or submission of voter registration applications that are known by the person to be materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent under the laws of the state in which the election is held, or, and this is the one you really want to pay attention to, B, the procurement, casting, or tabulation of ballots that are known by the person to be materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent under the laws of the state in which the election is held, shall be fined in accordance with Title 18, which fine shall be paid into the general fund of the Treasury. Miscellaneous receipts pursuant to Section 3302 of Title 31. Now that's a fine of up to $250,000. Or in prison not more than 5 years or both. Okay? That's federal law. If you're an elected official and you knowingly count fake ballots, you have committed a federal crime. And the punishment for that crime, for each count that you get convicted of, is a fine of up to $250,000 and up to 5 years in prison. Yep. So right now there's a bunch of increasingly nervous people in places like Philadelphia and Michigan and Wisconsin and Arizona. Okay? So BAR has been activated. The investigations have now begun. Some of them have already begun. Others are coming. Okay? And I want you to focus on this guy right here. Okay? This guy is a winner. He's beat these people for 4 years. They had this fantasy where they caught him unprepared. After they telegraphed what they were planning to do, how they were planning to use these lockdowns where they were savagely oppressing their own people so that they could move from mass mail-in ballots so they could cheat. He had months to get ready to catch them at it, okay? And they pulled off an unprecedented scale of cartoonishly blatant fraud, stopping the vote counting in the middle of the night and saying they were going home. Oh, I know in Georgia that was bullshit. They just locked the doors. They threw out all the Republicans observers, locked the doors, and they kept running and counting. Okay? It's all going to come out. The evidence is there. You know, you trolls, don't come trying to me. The Democrats you put your faith in are so incompetent. They are so blatantly corrupt, okay, that they were allowed to go ahead and do what they were going to do anyway. Okay, and Trump is going to have no problem whatsoever demonstrating in court that these vote totals are all corrupted by massive amounts of federal election fraud, and there's going to be audits and all the fake ballots, all the illegally cast ballots that were brought in there after the vote deadlines are going to be tossed, and there ain't a goddamn thing you can do about it. So If you think about it, that was brilliant. He knew he couldn't stop them from doing what they were planning to do. He can't go in there and stop the election officials in Pennsylvania and in North Carolina and Georgia and Arizona and Nevada. He can't stop them from what they were planning to do. But this guy heads the federal government. Okay, this guy is in charge of federal law enforcement and the NSA. Okay, and here's the point everybody forgot. Federal elections were declared key national security infrastructure. Yes, elections are a national security matter. And we're in a state of emergency because of this pandemic. And Trump has powers that people don't even know that he has because they've never researched it. Well, too bad. That's not Trump's fault. Well, they went ahead and did this anyway. They telegraphed what they were going to do. He knew he couldn't stop them, so he let them do it. And now they're going to pay. So, and we all get to watch. I'm going to enjoy watching it immensely. The next couple of weeks are going to be fantastic. So we're fighters, man. Okay, we had to go through 3 tough days of gaslighting. Okay, but that was easy. I knew what was coming. I knew eventually Barr's going to come out. He's going to drop the hammer. He's going to start dropping the hammer. The evidence is going to start emerging. The gaslighting was always ridiculous on its face. You know, it's over. It's over. The transition already started. Trump needs to concede. You know, and Trump's launching multiple lawsuits in multiple states. What the hell do you mean? The transition already started. The votes aren't finished being counted, and Trump has not conceded. So we fight. You come at us with the gaslighting bullshit, and we tell you to get lost. That's what we do. We're the Trump base, okay? Your stupid gaslighting didn't work. Sure, you have the upper hand right now on social media, but social media is worthless. Social media doesn't stop anything. You think this guy's going, oh, shit, they threw a couple more people off of Twitter. Gee, guess I better not, have these federal election fraud cases, that I already started. Because Jack is gonna stop me. Okay, Jack can't stop shit. The people that run Facebook can't stop shit. Okay. So that's where we're at. We got a very exciting week coming up. Very exciting week. It's only Tuesday. There's more coming. And I think they'll probably get around to calling Alaska for Trump tomorrow. Yep. And we'll keep seeing these things happen, and we'll keep seeing developments, and we'll be finding out more and more. Now, I'm going to this march on Washington this Saturday. I'm going to be there. Let me see if I can find a poster for that. Like I said, they had this all scheduled, and then Eventbrite tried to stop it. Eventbrite kicked the Women for America First. They kicked them off their website. They refunded all those tickets that have been sold. Okay. And let me just drop this in here so you can see it. This will be November 14th. It starts at noon. March for 45. Okay, I'm going to be there on Saturday. And a whole lot of people are going to be there on Saturday. And that is I want you to understand something. That is a real world event. The Trump people being out in the streets holding peaceful demonstrations, that's another thing people have been saying since Tuesday. Okay? after 6 months of watching these Antifa and BLM and anarchist groups, after watching these lunatic Democrat mayors let these people march, uh, not, not, not just march in their cities, they let them run amok in their cities, burning down businesses, looting stores, assaulting people, trying to drag people out of their cars, okay? 6 months we watched this bullshit, okay? And what did they do? What did the Democrats on the mainstream, the corporate media, what did they do? They said, even when they were standing in front of a bunch of freaking burning buildings, this is a peaceful protest. This is a peaceful protest, okay? And so what have the Trump people been doing for the last week? We've been peacefully protesting. We ain't burned down any buildings. We haven't broken and destroyed any property. We haven't busted into and looted any stores. Okay, we are peacefully protesting, and we always will. And the contrast, everybody can see it. And so after these mayors made excuses and they talked about defunding their police while they were letting all these black-clad masked goons run around their streets attacking people, okay? Now everybody gets to see how Trump supporters protest. And we protest like Americans, man. We protest like patriots. We ain't like these commie Marxist scum. They've been going around trying to drag people out of their cars and blocking streets and breaking into stores and walking around restaurants, screaming at people and telling them to put their fist up, you know. We're a whole different animal from the people that the Democrats let run amok in their lockdown cities for the last 6 months. Everybody knows it, and the people that say that they don't see that, they're just bullshitting you. So, huge peaceful protests coming in Washington, D.C. this Sunday. I will be there. And I hope if any of you can make it, that you come out and march also. Because, you know, Trump's got this, but the only way you combat the gaslighting, the only way you combat the people who are the children of the father of lies, the only way you combat that is with the truth, okay? And they spent 4 years trying to tell people Trump is more unpopular than ever. Trump's about to be wiped out in a landslide. Trump is losing his support. His base is deserting him. Biden has a huge following, you know, behind him. And then we have the election, and Trump got 71 million votes. I'm convinced they suppressed some of Trump's votes with that vote switching stuff. So we won't know till the recounts are done how many votes Trump actually got. But the contrast between the Democrats in their lockdown states and how these mayors let all these violent lunatics, these violent radicals run around, break shit up, okay, versus what you're going to see on Saturday. That's going to be a massive protest. And it will be peaceful. The only violence that happens there, I'm sure Antifa will be there, but we'll have security, okay? And we're going to be peaceful. And we're gonna protest like Americans. So they tried to steal this election, and we're not going to let them do it. So that's all I had today. Thanks, everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming out. We're winners. We follow a winner. They attacked his kids. Okay, he knew what they were doing, and he was ready for them, and they're going to regret that they ever tried this. So, just want to leave you with this final thought, okay? We are fighters. We fight to the end. We never give up. We never quit. God bless you. God bless America, and have a good night.